demonstration master will win.
Gets up the line, steals it with Shannon, done it again. Ethan Lewis, out of nowhere. Trey Smith has won his first win. Gutierrez wins. Brennan Wellington is the winner of the 12th running of the Indianapolis 250.
Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome once again to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here for Indy 250 Week 2026. We're here for our second practice session for the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250, and for the first time, we have all 36 entries on the racetrack at once for main practice here for the 2026 Indianapolis 250. And I'm not alone today. I'm joined alongside Indiana native Nathan Stapleton. And Nathan, you know how special this race is. You won this as an owner a year ago. We had our first practice session the other day, but this is the first time everyone is going to be on the track at once. So what are these guys looking for here today? Looking to make their way in to the 13th running of this great race here from Indianapolis.
Well, first off, thanks for having me here in the booth for main practice, and it's great to be back at obviously my home racetrack, but honestly the best racetrack in the world. It's great to be here, and you know, like you said, this is the first practice with everyone, all 36 drivers, and for the drivers that are trying to make their way in, for those 10 that are not the full-timers, they are brand new for those cars, and they have to get as much time as possible. They gotta see of how the car feels in case they make it into the D250. They gotta qualify their way in, obviously, but here today they don't have to worry about, oh, we gotta practice on qualifying. We just gotta see as if we make it, how our cars feel on the racetrack.
Of course, these guys are in race trim today like they were on Monday, and I apologize on Monday. I said that this was going to be on Tuesday. This is actually Wednesday, so hello everybody here on Wednesday for main practice, and Friday we're going to boost these cars up for qualifying practice and then have the single car runs this weekend with the qualifying boost. So these guys go on the same speed they usually have, probably pushing about maybe 223, 224 as a max speed. We'll be pushing upwards of over 230 miles per hour in single car runs on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go ahead and introduce the 10 Indy 250 only drivers here today. And of course we got ourselves a driver here in the number 50 machine who's been in one Indianapolis 250 before. They have also owned cars in this series and in this race before. Roberto Crown Jr. looking for their second attempt here at the Indianapolis 250. Of course, they finished 17th in 2021. That was their one and only running of this race 5 years ago, and Ethan Lewis won. And driving the number 50 machine there for Blaine Keys. That team has had some relative success so far this season, and Roberto Crown Jr. looking to have some relative success in their second attempt of the Indy 250. We got the number 12 machine. This is an Indy 250 rookie, and I mentioned this on Monday, but only 6 drivers in this field attempting their first ever Indianapolis 250, and Brian Webb is one of those drivers, driving in the number 12 for Vision Motorsports and Matthew Hubert. Of course, Brian Webb, he is an 8-time winner on the channel. He's won in the Wall Wall Cup Series. Had a great run this past weekend in Watkins Glen, trying to rebound his season over there. Brian Webb in the number 12 machine for Vision Motorsports and Matthew Hubert. This is a driver to watch out for. An Indy 250 driver has won this race twice before with Aaron Walpole 10 years ago in 2016 and Angel Gutierrez in 2023. So these 10 drivers are all in a great position to have an opportunity at getting this Indy 250 race victory. And of course, if you're wondering how it works in terms of the ratings, these guys all got the opportunity to do one set of 20 points. So they have 20 fewer points than the full-timers. However, they only got to do ratings for this one race. So yeah, you probably aren't going to be doing a road course because you're not going to be racing on the road course this season, only here at Indy. Speaking of an Indy 250 only driver that won this race, that was Angel Gutierrez for Dog Pound Incorporated back in 2023. Shane Lake's got a third car in this race as well. This is Sarah Taylor in her second Indianapolis 250. third, excuse me, I got that wrong, third attempt of this race. Best finish of 5th. 3 years ago when Gutierrez won, so she has some relative success in this event in the past, driving the number 3 for Dog Pound Incorporated, a team that has a very stout lineup with Jay Knapp and Zachary Fitzwater. This is an organization to watch out for every year when we come to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We got the 01 machine. This is the Dracoan Racing Enterprises 01 of Keegan Thompson, who has never made a start in this race, won the 1,000th race we had on the channel back in 2020. But has never made an IndyCar Series start, and I'm very excited to see what Keegan does here for Dracoan. This is an organization that's been around in the series for a long time, and of course, Keegan Thompson, a very solid driver, though he hasn't made too many starts past few years. A huge opportunity for him here in this Indianapolis 250 to really go out and get his biggest win of his career. Of course, he's got a big win winning that 1,000th race a couple of years ago. You know, that was almost 6 years ago when we had that 1,000th race on the channel.
It's crazy.
That is, I know you remember that, Nathan. It's hard to believe it's been that long. We've had our 10th anniversary, we've had our 11th anniversary, and we're here in our 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. I'm crazy. I love it. Great to be back here in the month of May. Hallie Anderson Jr. is happy to be here. Rookie driver. She was in the Indy Light Series last year when Caleb ran that. This is the number 57 for Dutch Atlantis Racing in Roland Orn. And Hallie Anderson Jr. is one of these drivers. I feel like a rookie could very well win this race. Though, as I mentioned as well, and I think you'll find this stat very interesting, Nathan, and you got the list there, no one starting or attempting this race this year has failed to win a race on the channel before. All 36 entries have won a race in some capacity on AG the channel in their career. So it is a very strong field and a lot of opportunities to be had out of everyone in this strong field. We got a car coming down here. That's Eric Monaco, looking to attempt his third Indianapolis 250. Every 4 years he's in this race. His first start was in 2018 where he finished 11th. He made his second start in this race 4 years ago in 2022, and he's back again driving for Durrani Racing in the 78. I actually thought Monaco had more starts in this race than just those two, but this will only be Monaco's third attempt at the Indianapolis 250. Ludovic Charette, the 2024 Wall Cup Series champion, looking for her third running in this Indianapolis 250. She finished third in her first year in this race 2 years ago. And she's with a team that, as we well know, Nathan, failed to qualify outright with their 2 drivers last year. Oh, we talked about it on Monday. We know that Echo Evans-Ross does not want that to happen, and she expects all 3 of these drivers to be in the Fast 9. Of course, all these owners expect all their cars to be in the Fast 9. It's not realistic, but when you got a driver like Ludovic Charette, how can you fail? That is going to be a very fun watch, assuming she qualifies for the race next Saturday. Going to be a lot of fun watching her there with Evans-Ross Racing in the number 91. We'll take a look through the field again, and we have a couple more of these Indy 250 only drivers that we've yet to mention. I believe that's Tanner Parton there. No, that is not. That is the 67 machine of Trey Wright, who is making his first ever start on this race. Hey, Trey was in the booth for this Indy 250 all the way back in 2020 when Nicholas Samadillo won. And this is going to be his first start as a driver, driving for Harrisville Motorsports, who recently got their first win in this series from Avery Alford, who, by the way, Alford quickest right now here in this main practice session, and a lot faster than the times we saw the other day as well. About 0.3 of a second faster than what Brad Stover had as his fastest time the other day. But Trey Wright in the number 67 machine. Very excited to see what he can do in his first attempt of the Indianapolis 250. 5-time winner on the channel, most recently at Watkins Glen last year when he had the fuel mileage win in the Wall Cup Series. Excited to see what the former American Motorsports owner can do here in the Indianapolis 250. We got one of the Indy 250 only drivers here. Oh, here's one. This one. Nathan, this one. This one is interesting. And if this were a real-life race, we would not have accepted this for obvious reasons. But there are no spotters. The game knows it's there. And this is our boy, Caleb Rose, driving for GRT Team Williams in the 03 machine. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. This is Caleb's fourth attempt, at this race. Not third, fourth attempt at this race. So he's been in it before. He actually failed to qualify back in 2021. I believe that was his first attempt at this race. His best finish is 11th, but guy who used to run the series, ran this series for us for a couple of years, was in the booth the past couple of years, looking to make it into the show. He's third quickest right now in the Two-Face machine. That's what I'm looking at right there. It's like a Two-Face from Batman almost, and we'll see. We'll see what he does. But what a scheme that Logan Williams painted for his brother here in Andrew Williams. I'm excited to see what Caleb Rose can do here in Indy 250 qualifying this weekend and in the race, assuming he qualifies next Saturday. I believe we got two more of these Indy 250 only drivers who are still yet to be mentioned here in this session. So going through everyone right here and seeing where they might be on the racetrack, if they in fact are on the racetrack. Here's one of them, the number 60 of Max Davis. He was a rookie to this race last year, finished 13th. He is back in the Indianapolis 250. Going to be a second attempt. And one career win on the channel. Nathan, we called that race together. Sprint Series back in Las Vegas earlier this year. So he was probably one of the last guys in this field to get a race victory on the channel. But he's got one. Driving this number 60 machine for BO Racing. Excited to see what Max Davis can do as a driver here in the Indy 250. Of course, a great owner in the Wall Wall Cup Series. Currently leads in the owner's standings over there with his two drivers of Isaac Nichols and Nathan Smith. And he's driving here with Bernardo de Oliveira with an opportunity, one of the biggest wins of his career. I think we got one more left that we have yet to mention. And I'm going to try to find them here in just a moment. Actually, am I right about that? Or did we get everybody? We might have gotten everybody at this point. Well, regardless of the fact, Nathan, those are our 10 Indy 250 only drivers. I think I went through all 10 of them. I should have marked which ones were Indy 250 only on this list. And I didn't get a chance to really do that, did I? We got ourselves, Brian Webb. We mentioned Brian Webb. We mentioned Sarah Taylor. We mentioned Kayla Rose. We mentioned Keegan Thompson. I think we did mention everybody. All right.
Let's go.
I think we did mention all 10 of them. So of those 10, very strong group of drivers. And when I saw the list, I was like, oh my goodness, we got ourselves such a great field for this race here in 2026. Which of those 10 stands out the most to you as having the best opportunity to win this Indianapolis 250?
Oh my goodness. Put me on a spot here. Well, first off, I will just mention Caleb Rose real quick. Honestly, he ran the series for a couple of years. And he was in the move for a couple of these Indy 250s. He knows how maybe these cars work. I don't like pacing at all. That triggers my ADHD so bad. But it's Caleb Rose driving. I'll let it slide. Great friend of the channel, and it would be awesome for him to make it into the show. He has speed so far in the 250 practice, and that would be a good story. Another one I'm watching for is Ladova Chouette. Paired up with Echo Evans Ross Racing. That is a strong pairing. And I think if Echo makes it in, or if Echo has the cars to make it in the CR night last year, Ladova could have a good chance at it. That's a very strong duo there, and I think that's going to be one to watch as well. But I'm also going to give a little bit of a shout out for my third one, Keegan Thompson, rookie to the Indy 250. He's been doing some special events on the channel the last couple of years. Ran in the little 250 last year. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's good to get it out of the way while we can. Sorry to interrupt you there. That's Nicholas Samedillo for Dutch Atlantis Racing, blowing an engine. We saw this to Angel Olvera the other day, and it's good to get it out of the way now and not have this happen in qualifying or happen in the race. So hopefully that's the one time that does happen to him. At least they're hoping that's the case. But back to Keegan Thompson, and you're right. Keegan Thompson's a driver who has been in a lot of these special events. Was in the Little 250 last year. Can't mention that yet, but he is going to be in the Little 250 next week as well, which we're excited for. And you know, Keegan's been a guy who's had some success. You know, back in the 2020-2021 era of the channel, he really had a lot of success back then. Technically won the championship of the NOFSRL Cup Series that year. In the shortened season that we had. Actually won here in Indianapolis in the Cup Series. That was the last race of that era. He went to victory lane in the Cup cars. So Great to see Keegan Thompson attempt this race. We're excited to see what he does there for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. We're excited to see what all of these drivers do, because all of them have an opportunity of winning this race, and 3 of them are going to fail to qualify, and who are those 3 going to be? That is the big question. Right now, the 3 slowest that we have are Angel Oliveira, John Andrews, and the 12 of Brian Webb. So we'll see if that ends up being something that translates over to Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we're really going to get an idea of what these speeds are going to be on Saturday and Sunday on Friday when we have our qualifying practice session. But I know you're excited about this race, Nathan. Always such a special event. And the 13th running of this Indianapolis 250. We have 3 drivers in the field who have won it before. Angel Gutierrez, Nicholas Amadio, and of course, last year's winner, Brennan Wilmington, in the number 98, won this race from the 33rd starting position. What an amazing feat that was a year ago for Brennan Wilmington. Still the only win he has ever garnered on the channel so far as a driver. But what are the chances you give him at doing that again this year and getting a second Indy 250 race victory?
Oh my goodness. Last year that was honestly for me one of my top wins as a owner, seeing Brennan Wilmington get his first. We can't see that this year with everyone having a win in the channel, and that is just mind-boggling that everyone has a win in this race this year that's going to be attempting. But for Brennan, it would be awesome to get, I guess, the second win in the Indy 250. I'm surprised that he's not gone to win yet in the Sprint Series this year. He's been so fast every time he's raced in that this year. So I think he has a good chance of, getting another race win this year, whether it be in the IndyCar Series or the Sprint Series. But I would love it for Brennan to maybe get 2 in a row. But that's tough. That's really tough to do so. But we gotta see if Brennan can get the job done here in a few weeks' time.
I'm excited to see what he can do, and he's coming into this race with a completely different attitude than he has in the past. And I know he's not had a good season in the IndyCar Series this year, but as I mentioned on Monday, I think a lot of these guys are focusing on this race in particular versus the entirety of the season. It is a bigger deal to win this race than it is to win the championships. Not to knock away anything from Thomas Troxel, Zachary Fitzwater, Luna Lone, and their championships the past few years. But you get remembered as an Indy 250 winner, and that is the most important part of the season, is this race. That's why we have the practice sessions, we have the single car qualifying, everything leading up to it. It's always a blast, and it's great to be here in Indianapolis. Once again, back home again in Indiana. Absolutely love that. That is the moment, the highlight of my year, when we all collectively sing that at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I'm looking forward to that in week and a half. We got the big one, the 110th running of the Indianapolis 250, Indianapolis 500, excuse me. We've got the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250, which for what we do, I think that's pretty impressive. We've been here for 11 years now, and we're still kicking it, and it's still such a fun event to do each and every year. All right, fastest right now, and fastest pretty much throughout most of this practice session has been Avery Alford in the number 28 for Hairgel Motorsports, and I know Alfred's excited for this one, looking to make it into his 3rd Indianapolis 250. He failed to qualify a year ago, same with Dylan Matthews and Brad Stover, so we kind of had a little bit of a theme going on here. Brad Stover was quickest in the first practice session. He failed to qualify. Alfred right now fastest here in the main practice session, and he also failed to qualify last year when he was driving for Evans Ross Racing. Second quickest is Angel Gutierrez, 2023 champion of the Indianapolis 250. Andrew Miller. Miller was someone who was ninth on Monday in the full-time practice session. He is right now 3rd quickest here in the main practice session. And he is the points leader in the Haas IndyCar Series, even though he's yet to get a win this season. He has had an excellent run there with Evans Ross Racing in the 93 team. Caleb Rose is 4th quickest. He is the highest of the Indy 250 only drivers right now in that very interesting paint scheme. Very interesting paint scheme. There it is. You can't miss it. You know it's him when you see the white and black right there. 04 machine of Carson Miller is 5th quickest right now for Durrani Racing. Carson Miller, of course, a very solid driver here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Had a pretty solid season up to this point. Of course, got that win at Watkins Glen in the Wall Wall Cup Series just this past weekend, so you know he's happy about that. And had a great run on Sunday night in the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Actually took the lead at the start of the race, but could not hold off Charlie Davenport for that one. Logan Williams is 6th quickest in the 83 machine for GRT Team Velocistar. And we're definitely excited to see Logan Williams back in this race once again. He has been a staple to this event the past 6 years, in the whole decade of the 2020s, essentially. I actually think his first one was in 2021, when he finished second to Ethan Lewis that year, and Ethan Lewis took it away from everybody. He only led the one lap, and we never saw Ethan Lewis again in this race. 7th quickest is our last winner, Charlie Davenport for BO Racing, who also is having a great season in the Haas IndyCar Series as a whole. 3rd in the championship standings coming into this one. And Davenport much quicker here today than he was in the full-time practice on Monday. Jay Knapp in the 00 is right now in the 8th position, overall fastest. And a pretty solid time for Jay Knapp, who his best finish of this event came in 2023 when he finished 3rd. Nicholas Amadeo is 9th quickest in 33, even though he did blow the engine earlier on. Of course, you get pretty much unlimited engine supplies here. But the number 33 there, Nicholas Amadeo, looking to get his 3rd Indianapolis 250 race victory. Getting this race victory in 2018 and 2020. And Nathan, he has been in 12 runnings of the Indianapolis 250, or will be in 12 runnings if he qualifies this weekend. More than any other driver. He's been in all but one of these races over the course of its history, and awesome to see that longevity out of Amadeo, who's essentially been the guy in this race throughout the entirety of the event in the past decade.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, we say that this is a very stacked and strong field, but you don't have that many that have done more than half of the races. 7 out of the 13, including this year, not many have done it. And Samuel's bunt is going to be attempting his 12th. You got Seidel attempting his 9th. And Sanson attempting his 8th. But besides that, Tuatso is 8th. A lot of people are doing the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th attempt. So experience is going to be key for those select few that have done a huge chunk of this event. And the experience goes to Sam Amadeo. And, you know, 2-time winner, maybe gets a 3rd this year in this 12th attempt in the 13th running. And I really like Sam Amadeo, local doing with that team, a very solid team. And I think we say this every year, but I think Sam Amedeo's chances are about as good as it is every single other time in this event. 2-time winner for a reason, and who knows, maybe it would be number 3 for Sam Amadeo.
What a historic moment it would be if he did get a 3rd Indianapolis 250. That would be incredibly impressive, and it's hard to believe it's been 6 years since he last won this race on the fuel mileage in 2020. That's how long ago that was. And in those remaining 5 years, he really hasn't been up front that much in this race. Of course, he's never failed to qualify. He's actually qualified fairly well in this event, and I'm sure he's expecting more of the same come Saturday. But we'll definitely see how it ends up shaking out in qualifying practice on Friday and really kind of get an idea of what the speed in these cars truly are with the qualifying boost turned on. And Nathan, this is going to be a new thing for us here in this Indianapolis 250 week, is the qualifying boost in the single car runs. And the speeds are going to be higher, which means there's going to be less margin for error for these drivers. If you have to step out or get out of line for whatever reason, you're going to lose a lot of time. And these guys are going to be on edge on Saturday and Sunday, trying to make their way into the race and get a pole position for this Indianapolis 250. Luna Lone, of course, last year's pole sitter for this event. And where is she in the number 49 machine? We'll try to see if she's on the racetrack right now. 2023 champion. There she is. Starting on pole means quite a bit to how well you end up running, because in this race, and especially how it's been the past few years, it's not a cycle race anymore where these guys are just constantly cycling. We get single file very quick, and you have to make those slingshot passes, and it takes a while to wind those passes up. So you want to make sure that you're closer to the front to start this race off, got a better chance of winning. And I say all that, Brendan Williamson won from 33rd last year, but he methodically moved his way through the field last year. It's not like he got up to the lead and just stayed there. it took him 100 laps to move from 33rd to the lead. It's a long race, but you know, how important is it for these guys to win the pole, and how hard are they going to be going for it on Saturday, knowing that that opportunity to win an Indy 250 is right there at their grasp if they win the pole position. However, I say all that, and a pole sitter has never won this race before, so
it could happen this year.
It could happen this year. We'll just have to see. Came close in 2019 with Jonathan King. We all know that incredible moment in 2019 in this race when Jonathan King came down the pit lane on the final lap of the race, ran out of gas, and Audra Baranowskis took the win away. Obviously, you've been seeing the intro for Indy 250 week and us putting all the winners and all the calls that I made for those winners over the course of the 12 editions of this race, but the Audra Baranowskis at the line, probably the one that rings so much louder than all the other ones. What a moment that was 7 years ago. I'm looking forward to it, Nathan. Qualifying going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
And for you guys are still going to fail to qualify as well in this strong field that sees no one who has never won a race before.
Qualifying's gonna be so much fun, and on top of, you know, this fairly strong field, you mentioned the boost. That is new. They've done that for forever in the real life Indy 500, where they go 240 plus. We won't quite go that fast, but we might go 230, 233, 235. So that's gonna be a brand new part of Indy 250 week, and really gonna spice up qualifying even more. And I think because of that, you know, if you make it into the Fast 9, that is a reward in itself, because that means you did a very clean time, a clean lap around this racetrack, not being out of line, not making any mistakes, and that's key. And I think this year, I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little bit antsy here, but I think someone that shows up one this year could probably win the Indy 250. We got a little bit of the lanes part to it. That's gonna matter. It's not a equal range of the lanes. You can't just start in the back and work the way up to the front. If you start in the back and if you don't have a good car, you might not get up to the front. So I think starting up towards the front is gonna be key for this year's Indy 250.
And it's going to be fascinating to see how difficult it will end up being to make passes in about 10 days in the big race. Excited to see how that ends up shaking out for everyone, because it's going to be very interesting to see if we get someone like Brennan Wilmington to work their way through the field. And something I've yet to really mention yet here today is we're going to have these ratings in play. And while it's not a huge difference, a huge amount of points that these guys have in comparison to each other, like how it is in the Wall Cup Series at least, that might make enough of a difference where we will actually see certain drivers have an advantage over others, and especially in Indy 250 qualifying. So I'm intrigued to see who actually has the advantage on Saturday with all that in play. These cars are essentially set up equally, though there is a range in all of that, so even the cars can be a little bit different from one another. But some of these guys have put aspects in certain places while others put aspects somewhere else, and it's all going to mix up in a certain way come Saturday with that single car qualifying runs that we get. So who knows how it's all going to go. Like I said, these Indy 250 only drivers, they only got 20 points compared to the 40 points that the full-timers got, but they only got the one race they got to worry about. So definitely going to be fascinating to see if any of them stack up. They have stacked up so far here with Caleb Rose up there in the top 10. He's actually the only Indy 250 only driver in the top 10 right now. Logan Williams just found his way, or should I say Braden Perez just found his way into the 10th position. And the next Indy 250 only driver on this list is the number 67 of Trey Wright. A lot of the Indy 250 only guys slipping back in this main practice session. 91 machine of Ludovic Stret right behind Trey right there in 19th. And then down in the 20s right here, Keegan Thompson in the 01 is 23rd. We have the 50 machine there of Roberto Crown Jr. in 25th. The 57 machine of Hallie Anderson Jr. in 28th. The 78 machine of Eric Monaco in 30th. And then you got the 3 of Sarah Taylor down in 34th, and the 12 of Brian Webb in 36th. 36th, and I actually forgot to mention Max Davis there in 31st. So a lot of these Indy 250 only guys not finding a draft, and that might be intentional, as this is the first time they're on the racetrack. But they don't have the speed overall on the session here so far, so going to be fascinating to see how that ends up shaking out once we get to qualifying. Avery Alford continuing to struggle here. Well, I say that he's the fastest guy, but he's back down the pit lane in the 28 machine, so still trying to get that all worked out.
Pit stops are going to be very important. You gotta do, some pit stop practice.
We got to find a way sometime to maybe do a pit road challenge. Maybe. Hey, you know what we got? We got on Car Day that they don't have anymore. Yeah, they drive Wienermobiles around the track now. We still got the Freedom 100. That's what it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
And we are so excited for that. We got a whole boatload of great drivers in that race. Caleb's going to put that on, and I think you're probably going to join him, Nathan, for that. And I think I'm going to step off this year. But we're excited for that next week, next Friday at noon. Oh my. That is always one of the best races of the year, and it's a double the length, 40 laps this year. Those Indy Lights machines, always such a fun time on Carb Day. We got the Carb Day practice, got the Freedom 100 and the Coke 600 later on that night. Hey, don't miss it. Don't miss it next weekend. We got, what a slate we got next weekend, Nathan. I mean, Thursday night we got the Little 250 over at Anderson Speedway. What an event that was last year. We're so excited for it this year. And we got a whole random draw that we did that we're going to show you guys next Wednesday to see how everyone lines up, where they all start. It's Indy 250 week, the greatest time of the year. And we're so excited for it here on AG the channel.
Best time of the year, and it's just getting started.
Well, something that just ended was this main practice session, and Avery Alford's going to get a bonus point towards the championship for being fastest here in the main practice session. Angel Gutierrez, Andrew Miller, Caleb Rose, Carson Miller, Logan Williams, Charlie Davenport, Jay Knapp, Nicholas Samedeo, Braden Perez, the fastest here in this main practice session. A lot of the Indy 250 only guys a little bit further back in the field. And Brendan Wilmington, I mean, he only did single car runs. He's getting ready to do the single car runs, which, the qualifying boost will make things a little bit interesting. We're going to be hitting, maybe low 38s. Not low 38s. Low 39s, upper 38s, I think, in qualifying. So we're going to be going about a second faster, at least around here. It's going to be crazy. And you're going to see what those speeds are like on Friday in the qualifying practice session. The final thoughts, Nathan, after what you saw here, wash, rinse, repeat with these practice sessions. They don't really mean too much towards how the race goes. But great to see cars on track at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Avery Alford fastest here in the second practice session.
And for Avery Alford, that is a strong car. I think Hedger knows what he's doing with these Haas Indy cars, and that's going to be a threat here. But like you mentioned, practice, it's practice. It matters a little bit, but at the end of the day, you got drivers doing all kinds of different strategies, trying to figure out, how's my car in a 5 to 8 car train? How's my car in a 3 car train? How's my car all by myself? In case, I'm all by myself in of course, the Indy 250. You got these only drivers that are new on the racetrack today. They were not really that fast, and I think a lot of them, just wanted to get track time, get a feel for these cars before the boost gets turned up. But we gotta see how it all goes out. I'm very excited for that boost practice. That's gonna be a heck of a lot of fun, brand new thing this year, and I'm looking forward to it. But practice only means so much. Qualifying in the race, but it's really gonna matter for the 13th running of the Indy 250.
Going to be a lot of fun, and we're excited for it. And I'm also excited because we're going to my home racetrack in the Wall Cup Series this weekend as well at Dover Motor Speedway. So, hey, we got a points-paying race, and we got another points-paying race coming up later tonight with the Sprint Series from Dover. So we're going to fly out to the first state and have some fun at the Monster Mile, and we'll be back here during the weekend for Indy 250 qualifying and qualifying practice. We got so much great stuff. There's so much great stuff. You know the schedule we posted at the other day in the Discord, And we continue on with our streak of consecutive days with events on the channel. So much fun every single year doing Indy 250 week. And great to do this along with Nathan and Caleb and Andrew. And Matt's going to do the Pro Series race. And you're going to hear all their voices all throughout the whole week. It is a group effort now. It's not just me. It's not just AG anymore. It's everybody. And we do so much to get all this to you guys. And we're looking forward to it because it's going to be a blast. So thank you all so much for watching here. The main practice session for the Indianapolis 250. We will see you guys on Friday for the qualifying practice at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We got that right. I know we did. And, of course, single car qualifying noon on Saturday for the Indianapolis 250. Probably one of the most crucial times of the year when it comes to these events on AG the channel. 3 drivers are going to fail to qualify in the last 9 on Sunday. This weekend is going to be huge in terms of who makes it into the Indianapolis 250. May 23rd at noon Eastern Time right here on AG the channel, the 13th running. Thank you all so much for watching once again. Huge thanks to Nathan Stapleton for joining me, and congratulations to Avery Alford for being fastest here in the practice, the main practice for the 2026 Indianapolis 250. I will see you guys later.